And that is some measure
of the world. Walking with Ghosts will tell the story of that island, which was home to a primitive tribe living in the British Isles well into the 20th century. The Victorian travellers and photographers who documented them and eventually destroyed them. Photographer and designer Robin Cannon's quest to find out who they were, how they lived, and why they abandoned the island, which had been their home for nearly 4,000 years.
About a year and a half ago, I was down in a friend's house in Somerset, and I found this book on St Kilda about a photographer and a naturalist. And I picked it out of the library and I just couldn't put it down. Well, the imagination, the mystery, the romance about this lost tribe.
After days stormbound in a sea loch in the Orkneys, his pilgrimage took him through the most treacherous seas round the coast of Britain, a natural barrier which meant the islands for much of the year could have been on another planet.
I was wedged on the stern. There was a wall of water higher, way up there. I was looking at it and the thing was just skewed down like that, and I just thought, this isn't natural.
How far away are we?
At the moment we're 36 miles.
We started to see the birds coming in.
That's right.
It's unbelievable watching them, the way they dive the waves and they walk in formation.
St Kilda has the largest gannet population anywhere in the world, and it was off the seabirds the St Kildans lived.
They used to climb up to the top, look down, and apparently the birds would attack them. It's pretty high, 1,000 foot, 1,200 foot drop, highest in Europe. It feels a long way from home. You really do feel, even here.
The apparently neatly mown grass in the derelict village is actually kept short by the Sawyer sheep left behind by the islanders when they finally abandoned St Kilda.
They were different. They lived a terribly harsh life, but they were such a small community. They didn't really have the problems of crime. They obviously had arguments. They didn't have any money. They had a commonwealth between them. Idealism, isn't it, really?
The islanders' life was unbelievably tough, fighting a climate which forbids trees or shrubs, and a soil which meant that growing any crops was nearly impossible.
There's a chap in the 1850s, which was very early when you think about it, who couldn't stand the island, so he actually got it to the mainland and then took a ship to Australia of all places. And if you think how long that must have taken, I mean months and months around the Cape and the storms. And he got there and he didn't like it, so he came all the way back and he went back to St Kilda.
In this 50-minute documentary, Robin will talk to the few surviving islanders. He finds the locations where the old photographs were taken and searches for the stories they tell.
This is the main street of St Kilda, and this is probably, well, I think one of the most evocative pictures, because this shows the St Kilda Parliament, and every morning the men used to come out, walk out of their doors and congregate in the main street and discuss what they were going to do that day. And the picture's very rich because it's got all these men with their big beards, tam o'shanters, one chap with a feather in his bonnet, lots of dogs. The St Kildans loved their dogs. In fact, when they were taken off the island in 1930, they drowned something like 40 dogs because they couldn't leave them here.
Robin Cannon and the film unit were driven out by the same capricious weather that kept the islanders isolated for so long.
We've had a warning of a storm 8 gale coming out, so we're having to make a run for it to straight across to the shore of Lewis. The reason being, it's going to get worse and worse, and we've just got to get in as near land as possible. So, if we get back, you might watch this one day. I'm going inside in a minute. Bye, St Kilda. Look at it. Oh! I've just cleaned my camera. I've spent about half an hour thinking Mr. Leica won't like it looking like that.